Hello, everyone. Scott Zambelli here, and
Hey, it's Brett.
Brett
Good.
Princeton right there. I think we have a delay
Yeah,
between our sounds.
yeah. If I had it up for all updated again like it does, and it's just running slow again, so I have to really work on it.
I know Windows 11 is being sent
So,
out, so I've had to do some updates for that. So you might have like updates coming in too for that.
well, I did check, and my system doesn't take Windows 11 because it's a little bit older. So,
Oh,
I plan
okay.
on getting a new system eventually. Here, I just haven't. I was looking around. Since Windows 11 is coming out, I know they're selling a lot of systems at a good price. I'm kind of waiting, like, okay, let's wait till Windows 11 is fully launched on the new systems. I find
Right.
that that works better. So,
Yeah. Sounds like a
but
plan. So fresh,
yep,
fresh,
yep,
fresh out of California. Brett is back. I think you're feeling a
yeah.
little jet lagged. I think you seem a little. Your energy level seems a little toned down.
I'm tired. It was we had a great weekend. The show itself was good. I'll give a little more to that. But we did the zoo on Monday. So a lot of walking. We did a lot of walking in town too. And then I had a little bit of flight delay. So when I woke up and so I didn't have to be at the airport at 5 in the morning. I had to be there at 10 because a flight changes. And so of course didn't really just sleep that well, and had a good breakfast yesterday morning. Kevin and I went and grabbed a bite to eat before he headed off to meet up with a client for his day job. And then I Ubered over to the waited to board, and started boarding by the time they thought we were going to leave originally. So we left an hour later. So it did another 4 hour flight. So it was just a long day. And then I
Right.
didn't rest as well as I'd hoped to last night because, of course, Hawkins was happy his buddy was home. So he wakes up this morning and pounces on me to play. So
Yeah, he's got to get his
that's my
time
buddy. So
with Papa Brett.
yep. So, but it was a good trip overall. Um, and that, but let's knock out a couple ad reads here real quick. So why don't you go
Yeah,
ahead
for
and get us
sure.
started with your team Titans of Real Estate?
Sure. Team Titans Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Even though real estate is ever evolving with different tools of the trade via technology, social media, and all this fun stuff, at the core, it's still a people business. Even though many people are trying to turn it into a purely digital um, experience, it just doesn't work. And companies like the Big Z company out there, they're proving it. They're trying that digital platform, and they're losing millions of dollars by taking the personal touch out of it. Because at the end of the day, computers, while they're good at crunching numbers and giving you a general experience of or information, they can't get in there and tell. The computer doesn't know the exact difference between your house and that house down the street, and why your house may be worth more or less than that house. All those little nuances that come into play. Real estate really is an art, not a science in some ways, because we have the data that we use to help give an informed decision, but how do you use that data? How do you apply it? How do you work it into a marketing strategy? There's so many factors involved in how to maximize the price to you as the home seller that a computer just can't grasp those little nuances that are required. You need an experienced realtor who knows the local market, that knows your house, and knows your goals too. And sometimes you might have a goal of you need to sell quick, and maybe maximum price isn't the objective, or it might be that you're willing to take a little longer but to maximize the price, or there's all different factors involved. So anyways, give us a call. Jill and I want to help you. Our Team Titans hotline, 586-232-5144. Here's our website up on the screen, teamtitansofrealestate.com. You can contact us through that. If we have a really cool app, if you want that, send me a message. And I will gladly text you the app to your phone, where you can do MLS searches right from your phone. So Team Titans of Real Estate, Scott and Jill, we're here for you.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of stuff pop up about that Zillow, and they've been canceling deals on people last minute, and people have been losing out on a lot of sales and money. And stuff like that. So it's I've said this for years: is technology cannot fully replace everything that we do, and as much as everybody wants like no contact, I don't want to talk to people. I hate people. You got to learn to have some interpersonal relationships and deal, especially dealing in business. And we're dealing with something as serious as buying a home, which is the most serious purchase I think you can ever make. Then you need to, make sure that you're dealing with the right people. So
Yeah. Yeah, statistically speaking, the vast majority of people, their house will be the largest financial asset that they will make decisions on. So you don't want to take that lightly.
yep. And I was just checking, Kevin just said he's probably getting ready if he's not already sitting on the plane because I got to pick him up this afternoon when he gets in. So they should be taking off here shortly because it says it's boarding now. So,
Oh, so his
Kevin, have
flight
a
was
safe
this
flight,
morning?
man. And I'll see you this afternoon. Yeah, his is this morning. He stayed an extra day to a client yesterday that they have for where he works at with Bolhoff. And I flew home yesterday and had planned on being home yesterday about 2:40, 2:30, 2:45. And I didn't get home till after 9 o'clock. He's on the plane. All right. Yes, he's on the plane.
Nice, nice.
All right. Cool. So, but yeah, so we had a great trip. So yeah, I gotta do Lauren just real quick. So here's Lauren Family Chiropractic's Facebook page, and they are located in Belleville, Michigan, and Dexter, Michigan. And take great pride in providing the finest care to each and every patient, offering on-site digital exercise, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young limb essential oils, and much more. This right here, they've been celebrating their 35th anniversary. And here's the family. You've got Dr. Corinne right here. You can see my little marker there. There's Dr. Anna, Dr. Brian. There's Faith. She works the office as well as finances. And there's Dr. Lisa. That's Dr. Brian's sister. Plus, they have another bunch of great staff people there. I'll actually be going to see Dr. Anna today in their Dexter location because I got in so late yesterday I couldn't see him in the Belleville location. So definitely check them out. And of course, they have a call button now, 734-697-4244 at Lawrenceville Family Chiro on Facebook there. So definitely check them out. And I was telling a friend of mine I ran into in San Diego. Actually, he messaged me. We got together a couple times. He came out for dinner, and then as a rare opportunity, we actually had an extra couple passes we could give because we didn't have to have biometrically tagged to people. They were actually just regular badges. Mike and his I believe they're married, but his Alejandro came out, and we had a great time with them at dinner one night. They came out and had breakfast and went to the show with us, and they got a chance to check out what a Comic-Con is and kind of get an idea of what San Diego Comic-Con is. Oh, this was a special edition. It wasn't the full thing, but it was. I was telling him about some things. He's, just like all of us, we're getting older. I mentioned chiropractic care, and he said, I went to one once and they hurt me. I said, you should call Lawrence's in Belleville because he's originally from here, and say, hey, Brett's told me I need to find somebody. Who do you guys know in the San Diego area? So give him a call and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Someone like you guys that'll take care of me and not just try to rip me off and take my money. Just like in any field, you have a few like that make it bad for everybody. But they know some good people that are like them, so they can definitely recommend. So check out Lawrence Family Chiropractic.
Awesome.
So,
oh, very good. I just want to give a quick shout out real quick to Funky Town Toys, Comics and Collectibles. They're a local little comic shop here over at between 20 Hall Road and 21 Mile on Van Dyke. I was out for getting some pizza, and they were right next to the pizza place. The owner, his name is Chaz. I've known him for many years. This is a new location for them. What's really cool about this, we got to talk a little bit while I was waiting for my pizza, and this new location, he has an extra room in the back that he can host small events. So we're probably going to be setting up a Crimson Shadows book signing at his comic shop once issue 3 is printed, which we're coming close to. We're going to do a book signing at Funky Town. So
fantastic.
Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. But if you guys want comics and collectibles, Funky Town Toys and Comics, they're great. Like I said, they're on Van Dyke, on the west side of Van Dyke, just probably a quarter mile north of Hall Road. So check them out.
Fantastic. As Kevin says, sweet.
Yeah.
So
fun.
So let me just get into San Diego. We'll get this knocked out here because I mean the thing about Irish Motor Show is we walked around in the morning a little bit. I didn't do any videos. There wasn't any sideshow setup. They did have a few setups here and there. A lot of anime this year compared to other years, and that a lot of vendors. The Artist Alley different from what Artist Alley in San Diego usually is. It wasn't cramped. Everybody had their 6 foot table space, and they had space in between the tables in Artist Alley. And there was quite a few artists there that were not the standard what you see there. You would usually see them somewhere else in the show if they were there at all. So it's kind of neat that they were allowing to have some different people set up for a different feel of the show. A few celebrity artists and writers. They didn't bring in any major celebrity guests, except for found out that John Cena showed up when they announced stuff for Peacemaker coming on HBO Max in January. That was the only celebrity thing I heard about. If there's other celebrities there, everybody's wearing a mask. You couldn't tell it was them anyway. So
So
they
you're
didn't have to dress
actually
up for that. So
you're actually at the official convention center in downtown San
yes,
Diego there. So
yep.
that's
They
really cool.
used Hall H, which would have been Hall H, as the loading area for everybody instead of using it
Oh,
for a
okay.
stage. So and they talk about QuiCon there. That's early morning there.
Yeah.
There was never the big roar of a crowd. I mean, at the most they were saying up to a third of the people could be allowed in, and it's a big convention center. And they did while it was a smaller show, it was still a very big show. Wider aisles, people really like that. Um, People enjoyed the fact that they could actually see things, and a lot of people we talked to were from that general area, and it was people that said, "Oh yeah, this is the first time I've ever actually been able to come, and it's in my backyard." So it was easier to get in and get tickets. So that's what a lot of the fans were excited for. And with that came people actually not just coming in, and while they had some lines at like the upper deck and Funko, there wasn't tons of places to stand in line to get all the things you want to buy or autographs or things like that most people spend half their time at San Diego doing. So people were actually walking around, they were checking out things. And I was in small press and with Kevin over in Artist Alley, we were complete opposite sides of the show. So we were not near each other at all. And it was a good walk. I was technically in hall, I want to say C,
Yep.
and then Kevin would have been hall almost to hall
Near
H, but hall
H.
D. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was like DG, so in that area.
Hmm.
Uh, so so it was and so he was over that way. So we had a good walk to get that. But
Yeah.
the
It's a
nice thing I
huge
saw,
floor.
oh god, yeah. I mean the floors really they covered all the way, like they do the same size all the way out to the back. That's where Funko was all the way to the one opposite end of Hall H, so Hall A
Right. By
there.
Artist Alley.
Yeah, Hall A was they had some booths set up, and then they had Funko, and they had a big space there. But then they had all the vendors going, and again, wide aisles. Usually, it's the aisles are cramped, people can barely walk through it. People
Yeah.
had no problem walking. People were wandering, and the one thing that was kind of like a typical convention was, um, we saw people every day, 3 days. Where with the San Diego Comic Con, unless you're there on like a pro badge or you're one of the fortunate ones, which is very few to actually get a multi-day pass, you only see them that one day.
Right.
Since they've changed the way passes have been the last few years. So with people there all 3 days, it was by Sunday, people were kind of tapped out money wise as well as tired.
Mhm.
So my Sunday sales were not as brisk as Friday and Saturday, but as our Bardstone products were going, we sold out of the Paul Macabre series. Issue one, I sold my last one on Sunday morning, but I was only down to the two. Uh,
Wow, that's awesome.
and but I had sold out what I initially had by Saturday afternoon. So I had a lot of people coming through a small press looking for books. And then Kevin fortunately had some more, so I bought a couple more from him to sell at the table. Um, the Crimson Shadows was flying off the shelves too. So we sold a ton of those. Um, and in fact, yeah, there's the booth right there. I shared a picture on that. I had an empty table next to me. I only bought one table. There was a lot of empty tables. I think it was twofold. One was people that didn't catch the fact they got sent an invoice, or two, they applied and then by the time the invoice got sent, they're like, I just can't make it. I can't make it work. They couldn't get flights if they were coming from elsewhere. So there was some empty tables. So I immediately on Friday expanded the booth
Nice.
and took over the space. I was not going to have an empty table next to me where people could just drop their stuff or try to
Yeah.
sit behind it and hang out, which happens at shows a lot.
And side note to you fans, when you're at a show, just because the table's empty, it doesn't mean you should be going behind the table and sitting where the artists are. That we have our product back there. Uh, Regular fans are not supposed to be behind tables just to sit. They're not there for your resting enjoyment.
Yeah, there was other places to go sit, which most people did.
Yes.
But actually, I had 2 book racks full of books, and what's to the right of the book rack there, as we're looking at it, I had more on the table there of extra stuff. So I put out a lot of everything I had. The left, I did all the Boomtown stuff, sold some Boomtown scabs, some Adventures of Carl and the Expendables, along with the Crimson Shadows and the Poe Macabre.
For a
I did.
second, I thought you had a new product out. I thought that butts. It says butts back there.
Oh, that's the that's the.
I thought that was on your banner. I thought that was part of your banner.
I've seen this guy before, and I think I saw him at WonderCon, and I think I saw him at San Diego a couple years ago. But he does all these images of whatever things and puts looks like a butt on it. So, but yeah, so
but yeah.
Yeah, if I could have gone wider with my backdrop, I would have, but I only went that far, and that's all I had. So
well, that's all you were planned for. You had one table. Plus
right?
You were flying, so you only have so much you can bring on a plane.
Right. So and then over on this left side here, the only thing I brought print wise, I brought some of my metal prints, which people seem to really enjoy and purchase those too. But yeah, we sold quite a bit. I had the best sale of the weekend. Had a great gal named Heather. She came by and literally bought one of every comic book that we have. So she stocked up. She bought variant covers. She bought a metal covers and everything else. And then actually one of my neighbors bought the metal cover because I had one left. He bought it early of the Poe you did for issue 3.
Oh, nice.
So that went really well. So, but just a great time. The fans were great. We're excited. Got asked a lot of people if I was coming back for next year's San Diego, if I was going to be at WonderCon or the LA Con, which is going on this next weekend. And at this time, it's all a wait and see. We'll see how things are going to look. I'm still looking at days to see if WonderCon would even work. It's the 1st through 3rd of April, but a lot of it has to do with seeing if other people are going that we can share expenses. Otherwise, it's just too expensive show.
It's an expense. California is so expensive to do.
Yeah.
I mean, food alone is insane, and although I think the rest of the country is catching up to them in prices.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the food wasn't too bad. We had some great breakfast places, and it was probably about $20 a person. But heck, around here lately, it's been almost $20 a person.
Yeah, we're catching up now.
So, and all the places we went were the scratch made places, so it was good food. I mean, I
all
could
the
have found
pictures you
some
posted were
places.
great.
So. Yeah, I shared a few here and there. I still got a bunch to upload from when we went to the zoo on Monday, but I tried to share what I could. So yeah, that was
from the zoo.
Yeah, the only thing I uploaded was we were walking around, got to the afternoon, we were finishing up a lot of places.
Yeah, go
ahead and mute that. And we stumbled across, now this is about an hour after I'd already been there watching, and a giraffe was giving birth. I mean, we come around like a few people there, like, oh, what's going on? And when the people that work there go, giraffe's giving birth. I was like, just like everybody else after us, like, right now?
Right now?
Like, okay.
I love in the video, you can hear a kid in the background go, it looks like a giant poop.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of that. And then got a lot of people, come on, push. And I was like, it's coming. I mean, she was pushing. We watched it. And you could tell, I knew the baby was coming soon. You can see the antelope there. The antelopes had been kind of milling around, but they all came over and just stood there, especially this one here, and watched. And this one started making some noises more and more as got time, and then when after it's born. All the giraffes are female in this area here. I don't know if they have any males at the zoo at all. They didn't talk about that, but
here it comes.
Yeah,
about
and
to flop. Bloop.
Bloop.
And that was all thing.
And that was the whole thing, and it fell. And you got people go, "Oh my God, is it alive?" Yeah, Michelle couldn't watch. She had a weak stomach. But yeah, it was like, it's this thing. It's like, okay, this giraffe's going to give birth. What are we going to do? Well, we could go walk around. Look at stuff. No, we're going to go watch this. We'd already seen a bunch of animals anyways. It was like, let's watch this thing. We stood there for probably another 45 minutes or so after this point, hoping to see the little one stand up. But then we're both kind of like, okay, we're getting really stiff just standing here because, it's kind of tough. So we went and walked around and finished the rest of the zoo and headed out that day. And couple people asked us, "Oh, did you see that there's a baby born?" I said, "Yeah, I got video." I showed the one gal, we had gone into a gift shop and got a cookie they had there, and I showed it to her. She goes, "Oh my god, that's so awesome!" But so I was like, "Yeah, we go to San Diego Zoo for the I'm going to call it the first time for both of us. I'd been in '97, but it's been so long ago that zoo didn't seem anything familiar to me at all, and so the first time there, I was like, "Oh yeah, we saw a giraffe kid. We go back next time. What's giving birth next?" Of course, the whole time I'm watching this thing come out in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, this just looks like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective 2 when he's coming through the back end of the rhino.
Right?
So, but yeah, it's awesome. I mean, as this is one of those rare opportunities, we had a chance to explore San Diego in a way and check out the zoo and spend the day and all that. And of course, we had to do breakfast at our favorite place, Hash House A Go Go.
Mhm.
Had a great breakfast there.
All the photos you posted look good of the food.
Oh, that's the one thing I do like about San Diego is there is a lot of great restaurants, and there's literally within like a small area there, just really small. It's 100 and something restaurants there,
Yeah.
and there were some ones that were closed, a few here and there. Like we saw the Dick's Last Resort was closed, which is fine because I never heard anything good food wise there. People go there for the being picked on by the crew. I'm like, I don't need to pay big money to have someone yell at me. I can do that anywhere, but I'd rather have decent food. And we found some really good food. Heck, even the other night we went to the steakhouse. We saw they're doing a happy hour, and we're like, okay, this looks good. Go there and we get like $6 tacos at the steakhouse and get a 6-ounce New York strip steak, and it was like $14 in that. So we went and had a nice little meal there with some sides and a steak, and had a great
Nice.
time there. And then breakfast and stuff like that. Love breakfast, and that's always the best thing. I think it's just through the day too. If we have a really good breakfast, like I was posting, so that way we didn't spend money at the show unless we absolutely had to. But the show itself, I thought was fantastic. It was definitely smaller. It wasn't the hoopla outside that everything was. The restaurants were happy it was going on, but they still weren't seeing the business they thought they would see. And I think a lot of it was there was a lot of locals. So a lot of locals, when the day was
Yeah.
done, went home.
They went home. Right.
So, I mean, we never really had a problem getting a reservation or getting into some places when we wanted to do that. We did make reservations, so to make it easier. But it was just overall, everything was really good. It was enjoyed it, and glad we got a chance to have Bardstone Publishing out there at the San Diego Comic-Con,
Yeah.
and had a presence there. And like I said, we had people coming back after Friday telling us they read the books and we're loving them all the way around. We got people to say, how do I get issue 3? I was like, watch for our next Kickstarter. We'll offer issue 3 as an add-on. And, so it'll be out in February to the current Kickstarter people that just finished it. So definitely all the way around, excited people, excited to be that we were out there, and hopefully we can continue that presence out there and keep building this fan base.
Nice. I'll give a quick update on that. So we got Crimson Shadows 3 in the works. Shara, I'm finishing the final 2 pages for inks. It's the epilogue. I typically do those. Kevin finished all the way through pages 1 through 28 for the inks. So that's all done. I'm trying to find. Where did I put? So while I've been waiting on Shara's stuff, I've also been working. Where is it? It's on the Facebook screen. That's why. So if I go here and share my Facebook page, it's hard to talk and share at the same time. So while I've been waiting on those, I've been working on our Frankenstein adaptation and doing the illustrations there. So this is going to be all printed in black and white. It's the full Mary Shelley novel. And then I'm going to have an epilogue, a prologue and an epilogue with our version of Dracula, explaining how the Mary Shelley story ties into the Crimson Shadows universe. But I'm staying true to the full story. It's the actual novel by Mary Shelley otherwise. And at the start of each chapter, I have an illustration like this that'll be at the start that depicts something crucial that's happening in that chapter. So, and it's showing our version of Frankenstein as the character matched to that story. So this has been a lot of fun. I'm through chapter 17 now. There's 24 chapters plus some other stuff there. So far I've got 22 illustrations done for the book. There'll be about 30 probably when it's all done. But so that'll be coming out down the road here. So excited for that.
Excellent. Yeah, we did promote a little bit of that while we were at the show, telling people to watch for that to come out from us, from Bardstone, and that'll be sometime after the first of the year. And then, like I said, Crimson Shadows 3 is coming along really good. The pages are looking phenomenal. Can't wait to
Oh
see
yeah,
what Cheryl Lima
Kevin.
does.
I gotta give a shout out to Kevin. I've always loved his inks, but I
Mhm.
feel he's gone up another notch in this issue here, and just loving what he has put out. So can't wait to get the final colors on there and seeing what the final issue looks like. But I definitely think this is going to be the best yet.
Awesome.
So
That's
that's
great.
cool.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
So,
so we have some other things to talk about. We have I've I'll give a quick spoiler-free review on this one because it'll be fast.
okay.
So Jill wanted to go see House of Gucci
Mhm.
this week. It just came out, and I'll admit my initial response was, "Oh, really?" Which was not good. I shouldn't have said it that way. She's like, "I go to your movies." I'm like, I'm sorry. You're right. So I'm like, I'll go. I
Yeah.
have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed this movie quite a bit. It's by Ridley Scott. It's got Lady Gaga, Jeremy Irons, Adam Driver. You got Al Pacino. Jared Leto is amazing. You forget it's him. All of them. I felt all the actors did a phenomenal job,
Mhm.
and I think it's worth seeing. It's if you don't know the story, I don't want to give the spoiler of if you don't. I mean, this is a news story that was global back in 1995 or six,
Right.
so it's out there. But if you don't know the ending, I don't want to spoil it for you. But it was worth seeing. Definitely worth seeing. I was very surprised that I liked it. Jill too. Jill wanted to see it, and she's like, "Wow, I liked it even better than I thought I would." You can see here on Rotten Tomatoes, they got 62% from the critics, 83% from the audience. So
Well, I think that's the most important thing is the audience, and that's where critics sometimes used to have more, but they still have a little bit of the power that they shouldn't have.
yeah,
Is it's and a lot of times because it's way too personal for them. They're like, I just didn't like it because I don't like so and so that did this in it, and so
right.
they immediately knock it down a point.
But a lot of times when you have a high audience score, you'll have a very low critic score. This movie, I mean, 62% from critics and 83% from audience. That's a pretty good combined score, I think.
Yeah, that's not
Um,
bad. Yeah.
it tends to be the higher the audience score, the lower the critic score, and vice versa. But
Well, yeah, because a lot of times critics are looking at it a little too fundamentally. Sometimes, like, oh, and they use this shot and that shot, so that was good, so I'll give it a higher scores, and not looking at it from the fact that people really enjoy just sitting there watching it. But it sounds like you did. So,
yeah. So anyways, go see it. I recommend it. Like I said, there were no lightsabers or battle scenes really, but I still enjoyed it even without that.
excellent.
Two other topics. One, and you can choose which one we talk next. We got Ghostbusters Afterlife. We never reviewed that. And then also, did you happen to catch episode 3 of Hawkeye?
I did. I watched Hawkeye this morning.
Yep.
I'm really enjoying this series. I like the direction they're going with it. It's a yeah, it's all connected. There's not like individual issues or episodes where you have to bounce here and there, but they're setting up everything you see here in this picture. The new Hawkeye, the dog's got a part of that. That's from the comics as well. But they are explaining a lot of Clint post Endgame, which is really great. And we've already seen Linda Cardellini in the first couple episodes, so she makes a guest appearance.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I'm still waiting for the appearance of Black Widow's sister because of that. We had that end scene where, like, it looked like they're like, "Hey, this is the man who killed your sister." So I suspect she'll be popping in at some point. But I think I've been really enjoying this. I've heard some people. I know Jill felt like it was too uh, lighthearted, too kiddie. She felt like she was watching a Disney series. I'm like, well, technically you are.
Yeah.
But she felt it was a little too. But with all of the Disney shows, I have found the first couple episodes, it's more about the setup. And I feel like around episode 4 or 5 is where it starts, the payoff really starts hitting.
Well, and there was a I don't want to give too much away from today because it's still early, but there was a scene today that I felt may have confirmed a rumor that's been floating this last week.
Oh,
So it was.
I will have to talk to you after the show to find out what you're
All
referring
we
to.
saw was this character's hand, with a young deaf girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I felt it. I felt the voice revealed a little bit there. So
Interesting. Yes. I
but
remember the
yeah.
hand, but I didn't
But
pay
yeah,
attention.
it's good. So we'll actually reveal it next week on Odd Musings what I was talking about officially out there. Only because there are so many people now that may not have had a chance to watch the episode. Yes, Michelle, you can ask me off the air, Michelle. It's. I felt it was. I may be wrong. I have to rewatch that little segment again just to verify, but it felt like it was because
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that, and then I hear this voice. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Interesting.
But
Okay, I will have to.
I also am waiting on Black Widow's sister. I wondering if she's gonna make an appearance in this. So we've been dealing with the main antagonist group right now is the tracksuit mafia.
Which I'm loving. I'm loving this group. I really hope they are not decimated in this series. I really want them to make appearances in future movies.
In shows, yeah, I think it'll be great because they're hilarious. Some of them are, but
yeah.
yeah. So it's pretty. I've been really enjoying it. I highly recommend it. The first 2 episodes were about 45 minutes each. This last one was about 30 minutes, I think. 35.
Well, it was 40. It was labeled as 45, 46 minutes with the
end credits. So
end credit. So
yeah, so it was about 35, 38 minutes then.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of end credits, but it went fast. It ended. I was like, oh crap, it's done. And I love that. I love that we are getting the this weekly release again. I love this. So
I'm not understanding that. Some people are shipping them. Do you think the line should have been clear? No, I'm not getting this at all. Even staying in the same apartment, he left there at night. He has his own place, and she's staying at a different place. She's staying at her aunt's place that's out in Florida, and he's got his own place he was staying at. So they're not even staying in the same apartment. So not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we'll get more into Hawkeye next week a little more. And
but
also
good stuff.
Yeah. Also, that dropped today, and I was watching it right before we got in air. The final season of Lost in Space dropped today on Netflix. So I watched episode 1.
Okay. I knew that was coming. I didn't know it came out yet.
So episode 1, I watched that. They give a nice recap, and there's a nice explanation why Will is now like a foot taller. So
see, that's the problem with the releases the way they are. It's like now it's like my brain's like, wait a minute, I don't even remember anything from season 1, 2.
Yeah,
I love what's her name, Parker Posey.
Yes, she's great as Dr. Smith.
Great. Yeah, but I'll definitely need that recap.
Yeah, I watched it too because because it's been I think it's been 2 years. It feels like it anyways. So, but yes, it's pretty good. So I watched the first episode. I'm looking forward to the rest of them. I'll get through that in the next week or two. We'll see how it goes on that. So, but that's really all I've seen new wise on things. I didn't have a chance to watch too much over the last week with doing the convention and traveling and things like that. So, but I knew that was coming. They're releasing a lot of stuff this next month. Look for movies and TV shows between all the streaming channels.
I'm still watching the Arcane series. I'm not done yet.
I had to finish that, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of people asking me if I've watched that. I saw some people walking around with some outfits on that said or shirts and even jackets that said Arcane. So I know it's tied into a video game. So I was thinking maybe there was there's like a some computer game for the last 10 years. So I'm thinking there was some presence at San Diego with that too.
But I am either in or at the end of episode 7. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. I love the character design. Everything about this, I keep coming back to it. It's kind of how I'm envisioning Crimson Shadows if we ever can grow it to the point where like an animated series like that the style is really what I'm looking like. That's what I have in my head, and love how they're the character design and everything. It's a lot of fun. They kill everyone off though. I'm like, oh, I like this character dead.
Well, just to answer Sir John's here question. Yeah, comics lately. I'm not reading
Crimson
a whole lot.
Shadows.
Yeah, besides our own, I'm not reading a lot of mainstream. But at San Diego, I had a great neighbor. She does a book called Warhead. Google that, check it out. I don't have it in front of me here to give you the full information on that. That was actually a lot of fun in that. But a lot of cool stuff out there. But definitely check out the Bardstone publishing.
I'll give a little plug for this one. So
Yeah.
I've given up on DC and Marvel and them, and I've really been going full on independent with stuff through Kickstarter. And this is the one I got recently. It's called The Few and the Cursed. It's an awesome series. High quality, but they got like a red foil.
Ooh, that's cool.
Edges. Yeah, it's really well done. The quality is spectacular. The art is great. I haven't finished reading it yet, but the story so far I'm loving. And they have a new Kickstarter right now for another issue that they're doing. But like this trade is something like 120 pages or something.
Oh, wow.
They've done a phenomenal job. So The Few and the Cursed, they have a Kickstarter right now. Go check it out. Mm-hmm. I love it. I'm a fan. So there's my good comic I'm going to shout out right now.
Yeah. So, so that was cool. So, so for series, definitely check out, like I said, Lost to Space, and then comics and all that stuff. There's a lot of great stuff out there. I'm independents. I highly recommend checking independents out. We did, all of us that were at Small Press were independents, and a lot of interesting, neat stuff out there. It was just more stuff than I could buy because I just didn't have enough space to bring it back home in.
Right.
Because I was crammed with stuff as it was, and while I did lose some weight on my stuff shipping out there, it wasn't enough for me to start buying a bunch of stuff and try to bring it back. So
yeah, and with the independents, you're getting passion. You're all of us are creating ones we want. There's no passion when you buy the Marvel stuff anymore or the DC. Mm-hmm. There's no passion there, and those guys doing it, I'm sorry, they don't care about their product.
Well, and that's something I did hear people talked about. Some people around us, stuff like they were talking about, the major publishers, and they're like, God, I just don't know any of these people. And I said, that's what they want. They don't want
the McFarlanes anymore.
Well, they don't want what happened in the early 90s with Image to come out. And in terms of these great ones become the rock stars, and then they take off and do their own thing, and then they have to pay them big money to come back because they want that name.
Except that's happening just in a different way now. Instead of going off and creating an image, their good artists are breaking free and doing self-published through Kickstarter and making their own. They're going indie, and they're making way more money doing, because now they have the fan base from doing their big publisher stuff. They go on Kickstarter, they'll do $100,000 on a Kickstarter,
that to me has been some of the best stuff, has been the Kickstarter stuff for Indiegogo. A lot of us do that. We have a lot of good friends that do it, between like Rodney Fike, Sean Forney, Dominic Riccio, Billy Tucci, and a bunch of other ones that have come out with names. Brian Polito has kind of been leading the way for a long time on that, and with his Coffin Comics, and he's no longer going through. Well, I think he still has some distribution, but he does everything Kickstarter to kick it off and get going with that. So everything he's doing is through that. So, and I saw he's posted. I think he's going to be 60 already this next day or two. He has. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it, but it makes sense because I looked at it as biography. I'm like, yeah, he's been around about 10 years longer than I have. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just surprising.
Yeah.
So we get into Ghostbusters Afterlife full review.
Yeah, let's.
So there will be spoilers, folks.
Yeah,
it's been out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think it's been long enough that we can get into it, and we waited long enough for this movie too, with all the COVID delays on this one here. I'm so glad it finally came out. The main girl there, she is already like a foot taller than when they made the movie. So Paul Rudd still looks the same though. So it's
this was a perfect movie for Paul Rudd. He was great. He has that comedy touch, but he can do serious. He can do goofy. He's not afraid to do goofy.
Yeah.
It's been really good. But I want to focus really quick on the little girl there. Phoebe was it Phoebe? Her name in the movie?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull up if I can.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna bash the other version of Ghostbusters that came out, but that was like a shoehorned in, forced product just for checking out certain boxes.
I've talked about that one before, and I can tell you this: the problem with, as I said, Ghostbusters Answer the Call, they renamed it after it came out, Answer the Call, um, wasn't the actresses. It wasn't the fact that it was female Ghostbusters. It
Right.
was the fact that the story was
It was the
horrible.
story.
They took these characters, which started off being smart characters, and made them get dumber as the movie went on. Even with them creating these new technology stuff tied
Right.
around everything, they had the proton packs, but then all of a sudden here's this other stuff they're creating. It was kind of interesting, but the story was lame. It just there was
Right.
no heart there. You didn't care about the characters. I mean, you got the two main women were supposed to be these brilliant scientists, and the minute Hemsworth walks in, I said this before on air, so it's not, you can go back and watch all the episodes. I mentioned this, but it's the same thing. They get on air, what they do? They got stupid. I'm like, to me, that was an insult to women. It was an insult to people, and people talk about, oh well, this is a female empowering movie. No, I thought it made women look stupid.
Yeah.
And then the one that was creating the gadgets, she was okay, but even her, they made dumb a few times. The only one that kind of stuck to character and was actually a strong character was the African American gal. I'm blanking on her name right now, but she was actually stayed true to character, and she actually brought more to the group than the others did.
Yeah. But in this movie, I felt the writing was great. This fits perfectly within the franchise. It doesn't feel like we're many. How long has it been since the last Ghostbuster movie? 20 years or something.
Oh, it's
But
been 30, 2 years since the last Ghostbusters. So it
since
would
the
have been about
last one,
it would have been about 30 when this was supposed to come out.
yeah.
So
So,
because it was like 89 when Ghostbusters 2 came out.
but the flow, even the choice of music, everything, it fit. It feels like part of the franchise.
Yeah.
This little girl is a perfect. She's a great launching point for the future of this franchise, and
Mhm.
her character makes sense. It feels right, and her being Spangler's granddaughter,
Mhm.
all of those things fit, and I love it.
Well, what I liked about this was the basic overall story was you've got a mom and two kids, and she's destitute. There's no dad in the picture. Not They don't get too much into that. And then they find out, okay, well, we're broke and can barely make rent, and oh, your dad died, and you need to go and take care of his estate, basically. So he's got a house out in Oklahoma, middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, literally. And that so they go out there. The kids, of course, think they're going out for just a couple weeks. Turns out, no, we live here now because we can't afford to go anywhere else.
Right.
And so what do they do? Well, they end up going to school and learning about the town, and the older brother, who Finn Wolfhard, who plays Trevor from Stranger Things. He's Trevor in this,
Who also dressed as a Ghostbuster in Stranger Things.
which was great. Yep, and that. So he and his sister Phoebe, that's McKenna Grace. They're kind of doing their own thing of exploring and learning their area. Well, he finds there's all these old cars, and the one under the tarp, as we saw in the original trailer, even sneak trailer, was the original Ecto One. It's been modified though since Ghostbusters 2.
Mhm.
So we see later on there's the jump seat and everything else that kind of comes out, which is pretty cool. Um, but so he gets it running, starts driving through it, but they're literally in the middle of nowhere, but things are happening, and things start to unfold, we see more of the spooks and spirits are coming out, and this is what we've come to find out. This is what Egon was there doing all the time. They called him Dirt Farmer in town. Nobody knew his name, but he was there trying to basically protect the world.
He had figured out there was a much bigger threat coming from Zul
Gozer.
Gozer. Gozer was going to be coming back, but no
Yeah.
one believed him. Even his fellow Ghostbusters, they thought he was just loopy.
Well, yeah,
And
because we find out him and Aykroyd's character had a falling out.
yeah, but so with this, you find out Egon Spangler,
Egon, yeah.
In real life, the actor passed away who portrayed him, so he couldn't be Harold Ramis, right?
Harold Ramis couldn't be this, yeah.
But the way we find out at the end he's a ghost, and the way they did this was so perfect. I felt.
Well,
Now,
our initial introduction was at the beginning, and we find him racing out of this mine in a vehicle, being chased by, obviously it has to be spook ghost or specter, as they always like to say, and because it's just a flying light. And he gets back to the house, and always you don't see him directly. It's always in the shadows. They did a really good job. Okay, this is supposed to be a real person, but we're not going to show him because the real person that would have played him is no longer with us. And he's basically trying to capture this ghost in his yard, and the yard is set up like a giant trap.
Now, side note, the person who played him was Ivan Reitman, the original director of Ghostbusters.
I did not realize that.
He played the body for Spangler, and then digitally they changed up the face for the ghost scenes. But all the body shots you see is him.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah,
Which,
so
of course,
I thought that was another great tie-in to the past, which his son did this one.
Yeah, his son Jason wrote and directed this.
Yeah.
So and brought it all up. But yeah, when we find out, we see this initial concept, it's like, okay, so we realize Spangler ends up getting killed. And the ghost gets him, basically. So we're like, okay, what happens is when it sets up the whole thing of them coming there. And things start to unfold. And anything is when they introduce the Paul Rudd character. He is the summer school teacher. Because there is summer school, and I'm not sure why the brilliant daughter needed to go to summer school, other than the fact that they needed basically, I think, daycare. Is why I was associating that with.
There were two things that not troubled, but A, why was she in summer school?
Yeah.
And B, well, we know Spangler's a ghost.
Yeah.
Why was he not sucked into the ghost trap at the end?
Well, the ghost trap itself, I think he was outside the range of it.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, he was stepped outside the range of where they were standing with the proton packs.
Okay.
So it pulled in Gozer. So
okay.
And split between there was multiple traps there, so it actually split the Gozer and dropped it in there. So
they kind of did a Dexter on him.
Pretty much, yeah.
Disembodied.
So yeah, but it was I thought that was pretty good. I liked how they unveiled everything. Of course, you got the Trevor character, Finn Wolfhard, sees the girl back here that's next to him in the main picture there. It ends up being kind of his girlfriend, but it's not really yet. I mean, because she claims to have a boyfriend, but they get pretty close during this. And so she is also tied into that. Her father is the sheriff of the town, played by Bokeem Woodbine. I've seen him in a couple of different things. He looked familiar to me on that. But she is Celeste. No, not Celeste. I think she's Celeste O'Connor. Yeah.
They have recipes on here. Mini puffed marshmallows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So,
Afterlife skewers.
Yeah. Or it's, yeah. But yeah. So, I mean, and the thing with this was, I've seen a lot of people post how this film was 100% fan service. I was like, yeah, it was. This did exactly what the film, A New Ghostbuster, should do. It tied it to the past and is allowing to go forward. When you've got Phoebe realize what's going on, finds, Ray's occult, calls Ray. Ray, of course, doesn't want nothing to do with it, but then realizes something's going on. That triggered them getting the original Ghostbusters at the end to show up to help save the day.
Right. And the way they did this was great in that the purpose of a franchise is to continue itself.
Yeah.
They are doing it in a way that we could easily get another 2 movies using the original cast being mentors to the new cast. Mm-hmm. The new cast works as a team already. They did a great job of forming them, giving them backstories, allowing it to develop. You got the little nerdy podcast kid there, which was great.
Oh, he was awesome. Also, I love podcast. He was awesome.
Yeah, they were all great the way they did it. And then I love the storyline they gave Winston. He's basically Iron Man, Tony Stark to the Ghostbusters. He's financing everything. You see at the end, he's going to fix up the Echo One. He's bringing back the old HQ. So he's going to be the one financing the tech, which will explain why they're able to do all this.
Well, and we had it was a neat little scene, a couple of little scenes, that kind of explained a lot of things. It's like you got him and Annie Potts' character talking in that last in that credit scene, and he's been paying the rent on Ray's occult shop. Yeah. He's been paying for helping that out. He Ray had mentioned that the headquarters was turned into a nightclub or something like that. Well, it wasn't. He's been he owns it. He bought it, and it's been sitting there. And then he sees the Ecto-1, and first he talks to it as a regular character, which it's always been. and we see at the end it comes into the house, and of course when it comes to the original firehouse, we start seeing an alarm going off, and original containment units down there, and is about ready to, I think, explode again.
Yeah, like it was running out of power or something.
Yep.
Because remember, he warned that one guy. He's like, "Don't turn that off," and he does.
Yep.
So we know what happens when it gets turned off. So I think it's running out of power. But so they've got the setup. There was a mid credit and an end credit scene.
Yep.
They brought Sigourney Weaver back for the mid credit scene. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a neat little nod just to the original. Plus, it explained the mind game that Venkman was playing with the students, and how the guy was getting him right but wasn't, and then the girl was getting him right, and then when he did it, she was like, finally she's like, "You marked the cards, didn't you?" And he goes, "No." She zaps him. He's like, "Yeah."
But it also, in that brief thing, told us where they were at in life.
Yeah,
they were a couple.
They were married, and
correct.
But of course, we didn't see her kid from before, so
right.
that could be still something that could come out in the next movie.
Very true. My only complaint with the movie was Annie Potts was in that town. I wish they made her a bigger role. That was my only complaint. I wish she was involved more in the whole story, since she showed up at the house, so she was in town.
Yeah, what was interesting was that she was I kind of thought going into this that it would have been the mother,
right,
to the daughter and then the grandkids, and that, but it wasn't. She was a friend, and we saw the scene where it was a deleted scene from the original Ghostbusters where she gave Egon this coin from the World's Fair. And then she kept the other one. So that was part of the thing that we saw in the conversation between her and Winston. But I thought she shows up at the house and explains that she's been his kind of caregiver secretary this whole time.
Right.
So, and obviously it's because she still cared about him. We don't know anything else other than that, but she was around. But yeah, I thought she would have had a little bit larger role, but I was still glad to be able to see her. Only really from the original one that's alive that we didn't see was what's his name? The accountant guy that becomes the other dog. So I'm blanking on his name. I don't know.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis, yeah. But Moranis is just now kind of talking about doing a movie here and there, but even then, not much. So he must not wanted to come back if they were going to bring him back.
Yeah, he fully retired from acting, but yeah, he's been coming back. So we'll see. There's still time for him to show up in future stuff.
Yeah. But I absolutely loved Ghostbusters Afterlife. I felt this was I
don't think they could have done a better job, to be honest. I really don't.
They brought it full circle. I mean, you see it at the end with the end credits and stuff like that. They leave New York, they go to Oklahoma, they deal with this, and they explain the whole mind thing that they're at too, and we see J.K. Simmons plays the guy they referenced in the first movie that was trying to bring Gozer in, and he was dead in this case supposedly. Well, he gets up when Gozer comes out.
That was J.K. Simmons.
That was J.K. Simmons. Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, I brought you here so we could rule the world together." She just slices him in half.
I know.
And I thought it was great. Yep. But explain, that was the mine that had the ore that they used on the top of the building in New York from the first Ghostbusters that opened the portal. Right. So that's why that was there, because they'd already built the stuff there. And of course, Gozer was trying to get out, and that's why we saw it at different points. Inside was this giant tunnel or giant hole, and he had proton packs all over. And every time that Gozer tried to come out, they shot it back down with the proton packs. It was an automatic thing.
Yeah. So going back to with the Egon Spengler character, what was nice is he sacrificed everything to save everybody, and nobody knew it until the end. Though Ray was all mad at him, saying he can rot in hell because he stole all of our proton packs and he took everything. Well, later on we find out he needed them to create this trap that whenever the spiritual level came up a certain amount, all the packs would turn on and suppress it back down. Yeah, and it was causing these earthquakes, but he had set up this trap to maintain them so they couldn't get out. And he was standing guard that whole time, knowing one of these times they're going to get out. So he created this mega trap. But to do that, he gave up his family, gave up his friends and everybody to do this. So I thought it was a great thing. great emotional feel when you see Spangler come back. I love that they didn't have him talk.
Yes, I was glad they didn't have him talk to try to recreate his voice. The look was there. He gave the nod. It was just kind of quiet because most of the ghosts didn't. Well, other than Gozer really wasn't Ghost. Ghosts or something else. But most of the ghosts didn't really do much talking unless they inhabited a live body.
Yeah,
You know,
they had
Zool did that.
Slimer type character. What was his name? Chompy or something?
Chomper or something, or Cruncher. Yeah.
Now, was he in any of the past movies, or was this a completely
No, this is a
different one?
brand new ghost.
Okay.
Slimer was, in fact, my cousin called me and he goes, "Was that Slimer's cousin or something like that, or son?" I was like, "No, it's a different ghost, but it's a similar style of ghost where it's kind of the blob."
It's a category of ghost. I forget how they
it was like it's like a full form roamer or something like that. They called it something like that in the original one, and Phoebe references it in this because she's been reading all her grandfather's notes in his secret lab there underneath the barn there. So
like even Egon, the form of ghost he is a different type also. He's like the librarian was in the first movie.
Yeah.
He was that category of ghost. And I
didn't know he was supposed to leave because, he was still doing his job.
Right.
But once the job was done, then he
left. It was time.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So it is interesting they have these different categories of ghosts, and maybe in future ones they can actually start exploring that a little more and reveal the difference between what makes a Slimer versus an Egon, or versus another one.
And I think calling this Afterlife makes sense, and then whatever the next one they call it can be something new. And I hope we see a lot of these characters come back, including Paul Rudd, who was not a Ghostbuster in this, but was one of the dog creatures.
And the relationship with the mom will definitely make it so he comes back, I think.
I think so, yeah. So it'd be kind of cool to see that.
I think Paul Rudd likes doing these franchises.
Yeah.
So I think they like that.
Yeah. So John wants to know if we were fans of the original. Yes, I love the original Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2, I still enjoy, but I was never as enamored with it as was the first one. It was okay. I'm a fan of the real Ghostbusters cartoon too. It took it into a slightly different direction of storytelling because it was, of course, more cartoony in that, but just a lot of fun. And the Ghostbusters 2 did that. Extreme Ghostbusters never really got into as much. As a cartoon, it was okay, but I like that. And then, like I said, I was just wholly disappointed in the script for the Ghostbusters Answer the Call because I felt that they did a big disservice to the characters that could have been, and that could have actually, and there was supposed to be a separate universe version of Ghostbusters, and it could have been better. I wholly lay the blame on the writer director of that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, hey, we got to wrap it up because I got to hit the road here.
Oh, it's 11 o'clock.
For my appointment and that. But I want to thank everybody joining us this week. We'll see you next week. Talk about some more stuff. Maybe we'll catch you up a little bit on Lost in Space and a few other fun stuff there. So
maybe Dexter too. I got my Showtime subscription, so now
I got to start watching that again too. So I'll watch a couple episodes of that between now and then too. So hey, see y'all next time.